When autumn comes and football fans head north to jam Mountaineer Field, it's likely few of them will have a clue just who arranged for Interstate 79 to be here. You might as well call this the John F. Kennedy Memorial Highway.
Announcing my candidacy.
It's early spring 1960. The leading candidate in West Virginia is that famous liberal hero of the Roosevelt generation, Hubert Humphrey.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the great city of Charleston, West Virginia.
Yes, sir, we follow it.
Kennedy's behind nationally, badly needs a victory. Kennedy commits to pulling out all the stops to win the Mountain State. It will prove a lot. West Virginia represents everything Kennedy is unpopular with. Blue-collar, liberal Southern Democrats. Winning here will mean time, money, and a lot of effort, from wheeling to dealing.
Kennedy came in, and we talked and discussed the campaign. I told him about making a pledge that I would try to get a road up there if I could. And he said, "You want to go into Morgantown?" I said, "That's exactly right. I want to take it from Charleston right up to Morgantown." He said, "Well, if we win, I'll see that you get it."
Kennedy countered Humphrey's liberalism by bringing in Roosevelt's son.
His father's name was so revered down there that to say that Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr. was going to appear would automatically guarantee a good turnout. And one of the reasons was that probably 10% of the crowd was named Franklin Delano Brown or Franklin Delano Smith.
Kennedy defied aide's advice and charmed labor on their own territory. He even went into a coal mine.
And a coal miner approached the candidate with a very kind of a belligerent attitude, and he said, "Mr. Kennedy, I understand that you've never worked a day in your life. Is that right?" And the senator said, "Yes, that's right. I never have." And the fellow said, "Well, you haven't missed anything."
And while Humphrey motored around the country roads in his Over the Hump with Humphrey bus, Kennedy flew to appearances. He spent a lot of time in Charleston and in Huntington, where he was a hit with students, even though Marshall wouldn't allow him on the college campus.
He stopped at the H.K. Porter Company, did a little handshaking, and there were about 1,000 students streaming over 3rd Avenue right outside of the gate. They wouldn't allow Senator Kennedy to come onto the campus. They didn't want politicians to corrupt the students.
Kennedy had the last laugh. When Marshall became a university in 1962, Kennedy was invited to speak. He sent a tersely worded letter saying if he wasn't welcome at Marshall in 1960, he wouldn't return in 1962.
If I felt there was some
Kennedy's
reason why I
well-financed
should not
wooing
ask
of
you
the
all
political
questions, I would
machine
be prepared
is
and
now
able.
presidential campaign lore.
In Logan County, to win, you had to know the Lever brothers. And the Lever brothers were the local politicians who controlled the levers on the voting machine. And if you got to the right officials with wherewithal and money and other things, then the levers somehow would be thrown your way. And
Money aside, many who covered and worked for the campaign insist Kennedy's victory was due to his connecting with the people of West Virginia and developing a real understanding and concern for the welfare of the people here.
This state has been hard hit. In fact, probably more hard hit than any state in the Union. There are about 250,000 people in West Virginia on surplus food.
I watched all ages around him over the years, the few times he was in West Virginia. And I've never seen people quite interested in an individual as they seem to be in him.
Kennedy learned of social ills and social problems, and it was a new experience to him. He took that back to Washington with him, and he made some changes in this country's policy. I think he sensed something in West Virginia while he was there that made him aware of these problems, and that the West Virginians sensed in Kennedy that he was relating to them, that he was one of them.
And the days of Camelot took their roots in the mountain towns of West Virginia. John McPherson, News Channel 3.